Live. Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm running Blaster Master. That's weird. The title screen says Cho Wakase Senki Meta Fight. Oh wait, yeah, this is Blaster Master. This is the Japanese version of Blaster Master. And actually, since this is the Japanese version, before I start, power off, power on, because the reset button does not adequately clear memory. So I need to do that before I start going. Time's gonna start on gaining control of the tank. So, ready, and go. Alright, so this is a tank. This is the Japanese version, so the lore is completely different. I am not piloting Sophia the Third. I did not fall down a hole and take a tank for a joyride. Instead, this tank is called the Metal Attacker, and my pilot is named Kane Gardner. He's got anime blue hair. Total anime protagonist. Oh yeah, pause and unpause in between screens, because that will cut out the screen scrolling animation. And then I'm just gonna come along here. There is a Sophia the Third in this game, but Sophia the Third is the planet that I am on. This is such a good track. Sunsoft definitely makes very good music for the NES. Swim through the water here. The tank is very slow in water. Pretty much every category is going to be the same up until the point at which we fight the Area 2 boss, and then it starts to diverge. But for now, we go to this dungeon, we abandon the tank is too big to fit in here, and we're just wandering along. There are 4 or 5 dungeons per level, but only one of them has the boss, so we go to the correct one to fight the boss of the level. A little bit of optimization here, shoot my way through the blocks. Oh yeah, gun gauge. There are upgrades you can pick up to upgrade your weapon. Not these grenades, those grenades are always the same, but instead there's the pea shooter. But the grenades are basically your most powerful weapon, and anytime you take a hit, your gun will decrease in power anyways, so it's not worth trying to go out of your way to get those gun upgrades. So we've got the first boss here, Mother Brain. Metroid fans wish their version of Mother Brain was this easy. Just throw a bunch of grenades and then it's... Okay, don't split. I'm not running a timer right now. Mother Brain there drops an upgrade. Let's see, it's called Hyper. It's an upgrade for the Metal Attacker. Ow. Metroid's hurt here. So, this is the way Blaster Master goes. You go to the boss, you fight the boss, you kill the boss, and now you can see that my tank's shots are bigger. The Hyper has upgraded my shots to make them bigger. This upgraded shot is going to allow me to get to the next level by destroying this gate monster, which now takes damage. That was a little weird. The shots blocked one of my shots. You do 1 regular shot and then 2 firings of the triple missile. I picked up triple missile ammo in the dungeon. And we go on to Area 2, another banger. Oh yeah, shoot everything out of the sky. This game has a little difficulty keeping up with the graphical... Let's see, the NES has trouble keeping up with the graphics of this thing, so shoot as many enemies as you can in order to reduce lag on the screen. Although, interestingly enough, the Japanese version has a lot less lag than the US version does. You're gonna be winding your way through this level a bit. Jump over that one there. Yeah, this level is much less open than Area 1 is, but it's still pretty straightforward. By the way, I can tell that all of you in chat can see my kids on the camera. Say hi to my kids. They're just there, they're playing their own games. A little bit of jumpy here. We've got a couple of mines on this level. They can be annoying. They're usually too short for the Metal Attacker to hit them with a straight shot, but you can hit them on the way up and get rid of them that way. Wow, that ball missed me. That never happens. We should be getting close to the Area 2 dungeon right about now. Area 2 dungeon is when categories start to diverge just a bit. These enemies are random, they move randomly. Sometimes these guys going back and forth will twirl around and then move up and down. Didn't make that jump. That's rare. It's rare to make that jump. These jumps are hard to make. Alright, dungeon. So, there's a slight divergence in the dungeon itself in that I'm actually going to shoot these things and see if they drop H's, and that first guy did. Later in the game, I'm going to pick up an upgrade called the hover module, and it starts with no fuel in it, but you can pick up fuel for it before you actually get it, so that 1 H there represents 1 bar, and that's 1 bar for this stage, which is, well, you know, about as expected. I think it's like a 30% drop rate. But then we have our second divergence in categories, because there is a glitchless category, which I'm not running today. The glitchless category fights this boss differently, but for now, since I am allowing glitches, well-known grenade pause glitch. And that's it. Area 2's boss is nothing. Alright, so the upgrade from Crabulus there turns my shot into a rainbow, and that's an upgrade called Crusher, which is interesting that Hyper is what makes your shot big and Crusher is what makes it a rainbow, but I don't know. Different time. Having played the randomizer a fair bit, Crusher is actually one of those upgrades that you really, really want, but you don't really appreciate it in the vanilla game until you're doing the randomizer and realize that you haven't gotten it. Shoot that guy on the way up. Alright, so we're going to Area 3 now. Area 3 has probably what I think is the best track in the game. It's also the point at which the game stops going easy on you. So there's these guys around, they drop their marbles. The marbles do 2 bars of damage to your power meter. They hurt a lot, and there's a lot of them, and there's also a lot of worms. Difficult level. If you're trying to play this game casually, you probably game over in this area a lot. I probably should have grabbed that H. Oh well. That's a second H. Okay, that's fine. For a warpless category, I'm going to be carefully trying to destroy as many of these things as possible, not just to reduce the lag, but also because I'm looking for H drops. I have 2 so far. I'd really like to see at least 5. 4 is the bare minimum, I think, but I prefer to see 5. And I'm currently at 2, which actually puts me a little bit ahead of pace. More of the bosses' names. I hear that request. The bosses all have really cool names. But yeah, Area 1 is just Mother Brain, I think, and Area 2 is Crabulus. Area 3, though, probably has the coolest boss name I've ever heard of. I'll get to that when I get there. Let's see. Lots of opportunities for a hover here. That's 3, that's 4. And that's 6. Okay, good. I have way more than enough. I think 8 is the maximum. Yeah, these triple missiles are very useful. You also pretty much won't see them past Area 3. I actually grabbed 3 triple missile pickups back in Area 1. Some of the more optimized runners might grab just 2. You'll definitely only grab 2 for the categories that allow warps. Oops. I think... I fired those triple missiles upwards. That's actually really difficult to do, because in order to fire your special weapon, you have to be holding down on the controller. So, you do have a brief window of time when you press up, and then you let go, that you can fire your special weapon and have it fire upward. Yeah, I have all these triple missiles carefully routed out. I'll run out of them by the time I leave the stage. So, speaking of, we get to the dungeon of Area 3, and this is probably... If it weren't for the fact that I'm using glitches in later stages, this would probably be the most difficult dungeon. Part of that is just because there's a lot of spikes in the way, and you're just going to be damage boosting over most of them. So this is a dungeon in which you take a lot of damage, but it also has what is probably the second most difficult boss of the game. And this boss's name is Photophage. Isn't that an awesome name? Like, where do you come up with a name like that? It's awesome. I actually have 4 health for Photophage, which is plenty for me, although a more inexperienced runner might want like 5 or 6 health for it. But Photophage is a bunch of spawning blocks. These blocks spawn in specific patterns. I already know where they're going to spawn. If you don't kill them as soon as they spawn, then they're going to start leaving copies of themselves all over the stage, and the fight will get out of hand very quickly. But, easy enough fight. Alright, so Photophage gives us the hover module. Probably my favorite upgrade of the game. It's kind of cool, and one of the reasons I actually like warpless as a category is that you'll see a bit more usage of it. Speaking of which, so this is warpless. So if you lose 3 lives and then you take a game over, you will have to go... When you use a continue, you will go back to the beginning of the stage. Now, that can actually save you a lot of time in backtracking, because I actually want to go all the way back to the beginning of the game in Area 1. So taking a game over here would put me back at the entrance to Area 3, which would help me get back to Area 1 quicker. Oh, I didn't make that jump. But actually, because reset button doesn't even clear your game memory, there's an even faster work called a reset work, which allows you to just go straight back to the beginning of the game by pressing the reset button, and you have all your upgrades still there. Uh-oh. That's a jump that I rarely miss. But yeah, warpless, so no game overs, no pressing the reset button. And in fact, you can think of this as a 1cc run, because there are otherwise still a lot of glitches that save a lot of time in this game. The glitchless category, the record for that is somewhere around 44.5 minutes by Uranium Maker. Oh yeah, plus the warps tend to get rid of all your hover and all your sub-weapons, and well, my hover gauge is full coming back into Area 1, but I also have these heat-seeking missiles, H-missiles you might call them. So those are going to be used in places. You can actually have 4 of them on screen at the same time, but that's actually kind of bad, because they will lag out the screen by doing that. Alright, so I have 4 hover here. The bare minimum that you need to get up to the ledge is 2.5. So normally when you do a reset warp or a death warp, you then have to farm 3 hover before you can get to Area 4. And that's a section that's loaded with a lot of RNG. It is very rare for me to come back this way in a warpless run and not have enough hover. But it has happened before. I can actually start right here. Watch out for these guys, they're trying to knock you out of the sky. And if they do, they will knock you back down. You might have to take a death, farm up some hover, and then try again. Because those flashing H refills do not respawn unless you take a death. So here we go, Area 4. H missiles or missiles. Thanks, Cat, I love that name. I should use it from now on. Area 4. Any percent categories can actually skip this stage almost entirely because of some weird glitches, but in warpless we do have to do the stage kinda normally, because glitching our way into Area 5 unfortunately does require us to use warps to get out again, so we're gonna have to do this stage, which means we're gonna go all the way down into this sewer section. Yeah, this is a very mazy section. There's a lot of dungeons hidden here. You kind of have to find your way around. It's not always obvious which way is the right way. However, if you do know your way around, then you'll realize immediately that I am going the wrong way. I'm going to the dungeon that is not normally the correct dungeon entrance, and I actually have to concentrate for this, because it involves a lot of, well, that water's instant death, so... Whoops, I didn't concentrate. Let's try that again. This section is difficult. Okay, that's most of the hard part, but there's still one more coming up. Okay, so the reason this works is because the entire dungeon map is actually just one huge map. The different dungeon entrances just place you in different parts of the dungeon, and normally they use walls to seal off the different parts of the dungeon, but in this dungeon, in this area, they used instant death water to try to seal off the different areas. But if you can use iframes to damage boost over the water to get to the boss, and so you can get to the boss even with the wrong entrance. And once again, a pause glitch works for the frog here. But it's going to put me back at the entrance that it expects me to be at, so I have to walk my way back to the tank. Thankfully, this walk is a lot easier than the one too. See, we're all good now. Alright, so the boss of Area 4, who is simply named Fred, I think. You know, the Fred, the frog, the Fred that we spend the US version trying to look for. But there's no frog in this version. Well, I mean, there is, but I just killed it, so whatever. Frog the Fred dropped a key. A literal key to the next area. That's it. It's a key. It's only the second worst upgrade in the game. One moment. Death warps would come in handy here because the entrance to Area 5 is near the entrance to Area 4, but again, we're doing worthless. So I am going to demonstrate the glitch that would allow me to get to Area 5, but since I have a key, I will actually be able to unlock these doors. Door wrap. Yeah, if you press the opposite direction at the exact frame you enter a door, then you'll do a weird animation and go right through the wall there. That does let you get to Area 5 without the key. But with the key, it allows me to unlock without climbing up the ladder and going all the way around. Alright, so, Area 5. If Area 3 stopped going easy on you, Area 5 is the point at which the game decides, like, to just flat out stop holding back. Area 5 is extremely difficult. It's all underwater. Your tank doesn't move very far underwater, and even if you wanted to keep the tank, it's not going to get very far. You have to abandon it, you have to swim to the correct dungeon area without the aid of your tank. And there's all these guys around. Kane Gardner is really not cut out for this kind of work. But then, once you get to the correct dungeon, you have the most difficult boss in the game, bar none. This boss's name is Hardshell, and for the most part, his pattern is just, he's a giant crab, or lobster, whatever, I don't know how to tell the difference. He walks back and forth, and he shoots bubbles out of his mouth. Those bubbles hurt a lot. It's hard to get a shot in without the bubbles taking it, and you will very likely run out of health before Hardshell does, because he is an extremely difficult fight. My earliest versions of the speedrun had me getting a full gun upgrade just for that fight. Get it for Area 3, hold on to it until Area 5. Now, I have since learned how to do glitchless, and I can fight the boss with just the normal pea shooter. Ow. I'm not getting a lot of health off these guys. But there's a better way. So, you do some pause buffering, you leave the room, and you just fight Hard Shell out here. He can't do anything out here. He's helpless out here. He's been transformed into a helpless Game Boy. And that's one of the biggest reasons to use the Japanese version, because that trick has a 6-frame window in the Japanese version. It's also possible to do on the US version, but it's frame perfect and hard to do. 7 health should be enough for the trip back to the tank. You eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that I parked the tank above some blocks that require pressure to destroy them. So I'm gonna need some way to get past those blocks without my tank. And normally you want to park the tank up there anyways, because what I just picked up was the dive module, which, lets my tank shoot through the water, drive through the water, a lot. I may have to actually stop for help somewhere soon. I can't afford to take a death in the next room. Let's see here. 1 health there. 4 health is good enough for the next room, but I want to be sure I have plenty. Okay, 6 is good. Okay, so the door wrap bug. I'm doing it again here. In fact, I'm going to do it 3 times before I go through the door. You're gonna notice that the tiles that I collide with don't match the screen visually. That's because each door wrap has shifted the tiles kind of 1 tile left. Because I don't have a way to destroy those crusher blocks, and even if I had the tank down here, the tank can't aim upward while using the dive module, so that's why I left it above the blocks there. Luckily, this door wrap glitch lets me go through here, pause, unpause, and that resets the visual collision thing, and lets me get to the tank, thus dodging an entire section of the stage where I go through a windy path to get back to the beginning. Saves a lot of time there. Area 6 is your ice stage. There's actually a small difference between US and Japanese here. It takes longer to accelerate your tank on the US version than it does in the Japanese version for some reason. Yeah, this is probably one of the more difficult levels to learn to speedrun, but that's largely because of the ice physics throwing off your understanding of how to move. Oops. There we go there. One really neat thing about doing this warpless is that since I've picked up all those hover refills in Area 4, I'm entering this stage with a full hover bar. You won't see that in pretty much any other category. Even glitchless has to use the hover to get out of Area 4, so they're not going to have enough hover to come here and cut out this corner of the room. Saves a few seconds there. Question in chat, what does warpless mean in this category? It means don't press the reset button and don't game over. We don't consider a door wrap to be a warp. And I did use the hover for the leap of face. I didn't feel comfortable there. I'm a little nervous right now. You probably can't tell, but I'm a little nervous. It's late in the day. Whoa, good jumps there though. Yeah, Area 6 can be tricky. It's got ice physics and it's got spikes. Those things are gonna hurt a lot. Nope, forgot to shoot there. That's right though. And yeah, we do have a glitchless category. Although right now only Uranium Maker and myself run it. I mean, part of that is because you have to fight hard shell glitchless, and that's really difficult. Let's get up there. Alright, Area 6's dungeon has a lot of spikes and a lot of ice. It can be kind of tricky, but at the same time, it's not too bad. Mostly because there's this health refill right here, so... Oh, and you can walk along the bottom of this screen. So, most of these rooms aren't going to be much of a threat, especially if you did bother to detour for the health. But if you didn't, then this is a scary part of the run, because you're gonna end up entering the boss fight with only 1 or 2 health. You can use the spikes here to line up here. The ice makes it really difficult to get into that gap. Sometimes you're moving too fast to fit, but the spikes make it easy to line up because the spikes are not slippery like the ice is. So, frozen Crabulus here. Yeah, Crabulus, but frozen. One moment. So, frozen Crabulus is probably the second most difficult fight in the game. He is vulnerable to the grenade glitch, but sometimes if there's too much lag on the screen, then even after you kill him, he will continue to move for a bit like a zombie while exploding, and that's kind of dangerous. We call that zombie. You don't want to see zombie, so I actually wanted to line things up just right so that I only threw 1 grenade to reduce lag. And then we've got a nice little shortcut here back to the entrance of Area 1. Let's see, Area 6. Because the entrance to Area 7 is in Area 2. So we got a little bit of backtracking here. The upgrade that I got from Frozen Crabulus is Wall 1. It lets me drive on walls. Ow. Balls hurt. And since I have the key, and I've used it to open the doors, I do not have to take a death warp to get back through here. Oops. Little hiccup. While I'm back in Area 1, I will go ahead and take this hover refill. I could refill my hover all the way to full, but that's not really necessary. You only really need 4 for the rest of the game. I mean, you don't really need any, but having a little bit speeds some things up. Oh, and having the Crusher here is nice, because enemies that previously took 2 hits to kill now only take 1. This little fall here can be tricky sometimes. That guy hanging out there wants to knock you into the water and ruin your day. If you have a lot of momentum to the left, then he probably won't cause you any trouble. But it's pretty common to hug the left wall, get hit by that guy, and then have to go for a swim. Oh, shoutouts to Uranium Anchor in chat. Yeah, again, glitchless world record holder there. Uranium Anchor is the fastest at glitchless. Very cool category. I got to run that for Retrothon last year, but this year I'm doing lots of glitches, but still warpless. Oh, be sure to dance while you're here. It's mandatory. Wall 1 allows you to get all the way up here. You can use 1 bar of hover to cut off that little corner there. You're not going to be using very much hover in Area 7. In normal circumstances, Area 7 would call for using a lot of hover, but we're going to be doing something interesting here. So this is warpless, but, well... So remember the water walking that I did in Area 4? We're going to do an even harder version of that here. And I will have to concentrate for this one. I spent too long in the pause menu. Yeah, I pressed the start button too soon. There we go. Okay, so that gets us straight to the boss, skipping out most of Area 7. This is Solar Fred. That was Solar Fred. Concentration time again, though, because I have to get back. Ooh, I thought I was a little short on that one. Alright, so normally I would dip into the boss room to make sure that I can spawn there again if I mess up this last one, but since this is my last life anyways... Darn. Run invalid! But I could go straight to Area 8 now, but I kind of want to show that I can do that trick. So, we're just gonna go back there and then come back. Darn, I was hoping for a valid run, but this is a very difficult category. It's hard to get valid runs for it. Okay, got there. I'm gonna dip out again, and I'll go ahead and take the death there to put the guy back into position. Alright. Sorry, Marathon nerves getting to me. There we go, that's what it looks like. There, that's how it's supposed to look. Let's just say I did that on the first try, alright? That was, yo, first try, I can't believe I did it. Very difficult trick. And I have used up all my H-missiles. The game over got rid of my hover and my H-missiles. Or my hissels, thanks Cat. Thanks again, Cat. That's alright though. And then I'm going into Area 8 on my last life. Run revalidated? I guess so. I mean, I'm not skipping any content. I love this game. It's so fun. And warpless is one of my favorite categories. Alright, so the upgrade that I got was Wall 2, and this is the worst upgrade in the game. So here's why. When I drive over a ledge like this, the tank clings to it. The transition animation to go over the ledge overrides jump, so you lose control for a bit. And that transition animation is trying to kill you. It is very seriously trying to kill you. One moment. But yeah, this is how you get to Area 8. And Area 8, the game pulls out all the stops to try to kill you, because it's really not fair. And you know what, since I'm on my last life, let's go ahead and just do that. Run's invalid anyways. I want full lives for Area 8. Alright, so Area 8. Spikes everywhere. Area 2 is trying to make you go into them. It's trying to kill you. And would you look at that? I have gone into this area with no hover, so I don't have any backup for strats if I need it. Like, say, this room right here, where they count on you having hover to get through the room, but Wall 2 only transitions if you're holding the D-pad while you're on the ground. So if you jump very accurately and let go of it at precise times, it's possible to game the jumps, which you're going to be doing a lot of in the Hellway right here, which has a lot of worms that are messing up your day. Well, that was fairly clean. I mean, it was a safer version of the Hellway, but fine enough. But yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Heckway. My kids are around. I don't know, the worms and the spikes, that's the worst room in the game. And you get past it, you're basically home free. I mean, there's a lot of skulls here dropping balls, but most of the time they just miss you. This is just kind of a really laggy room, not really that dangerous. I say that, but I'm taking some damage. Alright, so our Area 8 dungeon. There's a lot of things hidden in the blocks here. I actually took a lot of damage getting to the boss. There's actually two ways I was thinking of tackling this boss. One of them was the more glitchless way that doesn't use the pause strat, but the pause strat is a little bit safer. So this boss works a little bit differently with the pause strat. It doesn't take damage while the game is paused, but the iframes do run down while it's paused. So if you position yourself just right, then you won't. Then you can run down his health like that. And I'm also going to go ahead and show off the very safe version of this fight, which looks a lot like it did for Hard Shell. This is the extreme safe version. This boss is easy enough that you don't really need to do this, but if you're frightened, then go ahead and do this. I just feel like doing this. But yeah, there's also safe spots in the room that lets you pelt away at the boss, but you do have to get the safe spot exactly right. Or if you're very comfortable with your mashing, you could stick him in a corner and mash fast so he can hurt you. But time's gonna come when he blows up on the fade out. And that's time. 36-15. I'll take that with 2 game overs. That's Blaster Master. Oh, and you'll notice this ending graphic looks a little bit different than the US version. The shape of the structure is different. Your protagonist does have blue hair, because that's what Kane Gardner looks like. But there's no frog. The frog was added to the US version. GG.